Good morning, students. Last session we started the fifth lesson, monetary economics, and also we finished with the introduction part of monetary economics and the meaning of monetary economics and the definitions of money. So, two economists they are giving the definition about money. One is W. Walker, money is what money does, and the second definition was given by Grother. And also we finished with the evaluation money starting from barter system to the cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. And today we are going to discussing very interesting concept that is functions of money. Now we are going to discuss of functions of money. So functions of money, we have four functions. One is primary function, and the second one is secondary function, and the third one is contingent function, and the fourth one is other function. We will discuss one by one. Now we are going to discuss the primary function. First function of primary function is money act as a medium of exchange. So this is considered the basic function of money. Money gives a quality of general acceptability. So money is acceptable everyone in the world. So under all exchanges, exchange of goods and services, all exchanges it take place in the form of or in the terms of money. On account of the use of money, the transaction now come to divided into two parts. One is money obtained through sale of goods and services. So if you want to exchange or if you want to sell only in terms of money, and this is known as sale. And later money is obtained by goods and services. One is the sales of goods and services, another one is the purchase of goods and services. This is known as purchases. So modern exchange system, money acts as a predominantly exchange tool of both goods and services, both sales and purchases. And the second function is known as money as a measure of value. So the second important function under the primary function, money as a measure of value. The second important function of money is that measures the value of goods and services. Any goods and services measured in terms of money. In other words, the prices of all the goods and services are expressed in terms of money. So money thus looked upon the collective measure of value. Since all the values are expressed in terms of money, it is very easier to determine the value of particular goods and services, or it determine the rate of exchange between various types of goods and services in the community or in the country. The second function is money as a measure of value. Everything is measured in terms of money, both the goods and the services in the market in the particular country. And the second, we will move to secondary function. So under the secondary function, the first function is money act as a store of value. So savings in terms of commodity were not permanent. So commodity is not permanent in the world. Some commodity is perishable. For example, commodity is divided into one is durable commodity, another one is perishable commodity. So perishable commodity means the lifetime is very short. For example, milk, vegetables, meat, these are the items are called perishable commodity. Durable commodity means the lifetime is very long period, that is furniture, home appliances, building, etc. But with the invention of money, this difficulty has now disappeared and the savings are now done only in terms of money. Earlier, the wealth of the particular person is measured in terms of both fixed and assets and movable or unfixed asset, or movable asset or immovable asset. But now the wealth of the person is measured how much money they have in their hand. That is the store of value. So money also serves as an excellent store of wealth, and it can be easily converted to other marketable assets. Money is easily convertible in the market, such as land, machinery, plant. If you want to purchase land, machinery and plant, the money will easily exchange in the market. And the second function is money as a standard of deferred payments. For example, if you borrowing from others, or if you lend the money to others, there is different concept. If you want to borrow the money from others, or if you lend money to others, where difficulty problem under the barter system. But in the absence of money, the borrowed amount could be returned only in the terms of goods and services. This is earlier system, that is barter system. When the absence of money or before invention of money, if you borrowed money, okay, but you will repay in the terms of goods and services. But in the money economy, modern economy has greatly facilitated the borrowing and lending process. Money easily converted commodity, so the borrowing and lending is easily made with the help of money. In another word, money now acts as a standard of deferred payments. And the third secondary function is money as a medium of transferring purchasing power. The field of exchange also went on extending or growing or economic development. The exchange of goods now extended to distant lands. For example, if you export from export to other countries or import from other countries, with the help of this money, it will very easier. So it is therefore felt necessary to transfer our purchasing power from one place to another place, or our purchasing power of common man is measured in terms of money. And next we will move to the third function, contingent function. Under the contingent function, first point is basis of the credit system. Now money is the basis of credit system. Even business transaction are either or cash or on credit. It is measured in terms of money. Your credit utility, your ability to get the credit from the bank, financial institution, money lenders, it will measure in terms of money. For example, a depositor can make use of the check only when there is sufficient fund in his account. So the commercial banks create credit on the basis of adequate cash reserves. For example, those who are loyal consumer to the bank, those who are more transaction with the banking sector, they are giving overdraft facility to the liable consumer. This is also known as money. And the next one is the money facilitates the distribution of our national income. So our national income is measured in terms of money. For example, all the countries in the world, national incomes are measured in US dollars except Singapore. Singapore national income is measured in Singapore dollars. So the task of distribution of national income to citizens of particular country under the barter system, it is very difficult. But under the money, after invention of money, it will become very easier to exchange our national income to various groups. Or the distribution of wealth, for example, rent, wages, interest and profit, reward for factors of production is also allocated in the terms of money. And the third point is money helps to equalize the marginal utilities and marginal productivities. So consumer can obtain maximum utility only if they increase the expenditure. So if you are a normal consumer, if you want to maximum utilities, you will spend more money or you will purchase more commodity in such a manner as to equalize marginal utility accurate from the goods and services. Now in the equalizing there is marginal utility, money play an important role because the prices of all the commodities, prices of all the services is expressed in the money. Money is also helped to equalize marginal productivity in the various factors of production like land, labor, capital, organization. Yeah, all the maximum marginal productivity is measured in the money value. And the fourth one is money increasing the productivity of capital. Money is mostly liquid form of capital. So, yeah, like building, machinery, or land or plant, it is not liquid form of cash. It is known as the standard form of asset. But money is known as liquidity form of cash or liquid form of cash. In other words, the capital in the form of money can be put to any use. If you have more money, more capital in your hand in the name of or in the terms of money, you will use the money various purpose. So it is an account of this liquidity of money that capital can be transferred from less productive to more productivity. And fourth, and next we will move to other function. Next we will move to other function. One is repayment capacity. Money possesses the quality of general acceptability to maintain the repayment capacity. Banking sector, money lender, financial institution, they are measuring your repayment capacity in terms of money, in terms of income. So every firm has to keep asset in the form of liquidity cash. The firm ensure the repayment capacity with money. Likewise, bank, insurance companies, or even government have to keep some liquidity money like individuals. That is cash to maintain the repayment capacity to other countries, banks, relative, money lender, and financial institution. And the second point is money represents the generalized purchasing power. So the purchasing power kept in the terms of money can be put to any use. It is not necessary that money should be used only for purpose of which has been served, but the money is the general purchasing power is measured in terms of money. For example, your consumption is measured in terms of what is your income. That income is known as money. And the third one is money gives liquidity to capital. Money is the most liquid form of capital put into any use. Next we will move to a very important concept, that is supply of money. So money supply means the total amount of money in the economy, that is in the country. What is the total amount of money available in the particular country? The money supply refers to the amount of money which is on circulation in the country at any given time. For example, particular year like 2020, what is the amount circulation, what is the circulation of money in the particular country? That is known as supply of money. The money supply play a very important role in the determination of price level and interest rate in the particular country. And the money supply viewed at a given point of time, the stock and over what is the stock of money the particular country they possess, and a period of time, it is a flow concept. It is not a stock, it is a flow concept. The money supply will increase or decrease according to their situation, financial situation of particular country. And next we will move to the meaning of money supply. In India, the currency notes are issued by the Reserve Bank of India. It is a Central Bank of India. It is also called Reserve Bank of India. And the coins, 1 rupee coin, except 1 rupee note, other coins like 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, 10 rupee coins are issued by Ministry of Finance in the Government of India. The balance is saving or the current account deposit held by the public in the commercial bank. The savings of the public or current deposit in the banks, it is also considered as a money. The currency note are also called fiat money. Fiat money means the confirm money, that is தமிழில் வந்து உறுதியளிக்கப்பட்ட பணம். இது 100 ரூபானா 100 ரூபா, இது 200 ரூபானா 200 ரூபா. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், if you see the currency note, top of the Reserve Bank governor sign, one word is there, that is I promise to you this is 10 rupee, like this. That is called உறுதியளிக்கப்பட்ட பணம். And legal tender money, the currency notes are also called fiat money. And legal tender money means சட்டபூர்வமா இது 100 ரூபா, லீகலா இது 200 ரூபா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ரிசர்வ் பேங்க் கவர்னர்னால ப்ராமிஸ் பண்ணக்கூடிய நோட்டு தான் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுறோம், கரன்சி நோட்டுன்னு சொல்கிறோம். தட் இஸ் கரன்சி நோட்ஸ் ஆர் கால்டு ஃபியட் மணி ஆர் லீகல் மணி. And money supply is a stock variable. RBI, Reserve Bank of India, publishes information for the 4 alternative measures of money supply. So the RBI was given four alternative measures for money supply, that is M1, M2, M3 and M4. M1 stands for currency available in the country, coins and demand deposit in the bank. And the next one is M2. M2 is equal to M1 currency, coins and demand deposit plus saving deposit with post office and savings bank. And M3 is equal to M2. M2 means M1 plus saving deposit with the post office savings banks plus time deposit of all the commercial and cooperative banks. And M4 is equal to above 3 M, that is M3 plus total deposit with post office. And M1 and M2 are known as narrow money, and M3 and M4 are known as broad money. Next class we will detailedly discuss about narrow money and broad money. Students, next class we will going to discuss about narrow money and broad money, and also we discuss about currency determinants of money supply. There are four determinants. One is currency deposit ratio, simply CDR, and the second one is reserve deposit ratio, RDR, and the third one is cash reserve ratio, CRR, and the fourth one is statutory liquidity ratio, SLR. Next class, don't miss the class. We will discuss very important concept, and please participate the online live doubt clarification class. Out of 40 students, only 4 or 5 students come regularly, and I don't know what are doing the remaining students. Okay, I will ready to answer your question in the Google online live doubt clarification class. We will meet on next class. Thank you.